Welcome to Ghost Stories of the Battles, the channel where history meets the supernatural. Today, we journey to a site of eerie legacy and artistic ambition. The Manila Film Center, a landmark that echoes with the whispers of a tumultuous past. Did you know that this iconic building, meant to celebrate the magic of film, was built during a time of tragedy where lives were lost and secrets buried? What horrors linger beneath its glamorous facade? What if I told you that many souls never truly left? The Manila Film Center was constructed in the early 1980s, during the Marcos regime, and it's notorious for the tragic incident that occurred during its construction in 1981. A scaffolding collapse resulted in the deaths of numerous workers, casting a long, dark shadow over the structure. This incident intertwined the tales of unease with the aspirations of the Filipino film industry, creating a fabric of haunting narratives. Picture the Manila Film Center, standing resolute near the coast, its vast white facade gleaming under the Filipino sun. Yet, as dusk falls, shadows gather, silence grips the air, and the echoes of laughter from festival attendees turn to whispers of the past. Here, amidst the remnants of vibrant creativity, lingers unfinished business, and the spirits of those who labored in vain beckon for remembrance. As we delve into this tale, prepare to encounter the specters of ambition and tragedy that still roam the corridors of the Manila Film Center, their stories begging to be told. Story fun. Whispers of the Scaffold. Lisa, a passionate film student, had always been captivated by the blend of art and history, particularly that which dwelt upon her home country, the Philippines. Little did she know, her quest for knowledge would lead her to a site steeped in both cinematic legacy and tragic tales, the Manila Film Center. As she stood before its imposing facade for the first time, she felt an exhilarating mix of awe and trepidation. The stories she had heard about the place, the whisperings of spirits, shadowy sightings made her heart race. Welcome to the heart of Filipino cinema, she thought, but as she stepped inside, the vibrant colors of the lobby did little to comfort her. The sprawling open spaces felt haunted, echoing with laughter from long past film festivals and the hushed murmurs of workers who had once toiled in its shadow. Lisa wandered down the echoing hallways, captivated by the stillness that enveloped the structure, feeling as though even the walls bore witness to the unspeakable tragedy that had unfolded during its creation. Stepping into the auditorium, an unsettling chill crept over her, the air thickened, distant laughter fading into a dense silence. Lisa swallowed her apprehension and decided, for the sake of her studies, to investigate the older parts of the building, the places where the stories of tragedy intertwined with her love for film. Unbeknownst to her, this very decision would plunge her into a realm of the forgotten, the whispering souls, trapped within the confines of the Manila Film Center, yearning for recognition and a narrative all their own. Lisa's first stop was a small office, tucked away in a corner of the building, and there she found Mr. Reyes, the elderly caretaker with a wiry frame and a kindly demeanor that belied the weight of what he knew. She had heard rumors about him. He was said to be a source of tales that transitioned between fact and ghostly lore. As he settled into his chair with a heavy sigh, Lisa was startled to see the flicker of something dark across his usually warm gaze. "That there," Mr. Reyes began, gesturing with a gnarled finger toward an old newspaper clipping on the wall, "is about the collapse." The clips related to the incident at the film center's construction site in 1981, when over 20 workers died as scaffolding crumbled under them, their screams lost to the night. Mr. Reyes' voice grew somber, each word laced with a haunting resonance. "They were just trying to make a living, you know. They worked too hard, and in seconds it was all gone." His eyes shifted to the window, where fading daylight painted the scene before them in orange hues. After that, strange things started happening. People would hear whispers or see fleeting shadows. It's like they're still here, demanding recognition. Lisa felt her skin prickle at the thought. As she listened to Mr. Ray's recounts unnerving tales, the cold drafts that coursed through the empty halls, the flickering lights during the dead of night, she felt herself pulled into the gravity of those lost lives. Each tale came alive, vivid and unnerving, enveloping her. After their conversation, Lisa could not shake the feeling that she was being watched. The atmosphere thickened with a palpable energy as she began to explore the film center alone. The corridors, once filled with artistic ambitions, stood stark and empty. Eerie echoes reverberated through her mind, disembodied voices whispering sadness, secrets longing to be revealed. Nights turned into weeks, and Lisa became fascinated by the accounts of the lost voices that trailed through the building. She decided to stay late one evening for an independent film screening, a chance to immerse herself fully in the place she had grown enamored with. Alone in the vast auditorium, she felt the air grow heavy, as if the past were swirling around her, urging her to pay attention. As the film played, the flickering images danced off the screen, but still, there was something nagging at her heart, an awareness of the shadows lurking just beyond her field of vision. Suddenly, her camera captured something, a flicker, a fleeting figure that vanished as quickly as it appeared. The sharp intake of breath in her throat felt electric. She replayed the footage. Who or what had she caught in her lens? Compelled by curiosity and trepidation, Lisa dug deeper, retracing her steps back through the building. In the far corner, a door she had not noticed before called to her. It creaked open, revealing a hidden room filled with artifacts, a time capsule of the film center's past. Relics that belonged to those who perished, stories long buried. Among dusty props, Lisa discovered sketches, photographs, and letters, a vault of memories that reinforced the permanence of their lives and the loss they suffered. One photograph struck her, the faces of the workers, vibrant and alive. Lines of hope etched on their foreheads, hands stained with dust and labor. They were not just victims, they had dreams, stories waiting to be told. Suddenly, the temperature in the room dropped, a chilling wave sweeping over her, as if the very spirits of those who worked there had awakened, drawing near. A shiver raced down her spine, and without thinking, she spoke aloud, I know you're here." In that moment, Lisa felt an inexplicable bond tethering her to the lost souls, a deep and profound understanding of their unfinished dreams. She had come to unravel the film center's history, but she was determined to let their stories live on. As Lisa continued to explore, the shadows in the hall took on a life of their own, not as menacing figures, but as guides through the mysteries that lay beyond the surface. As night fell, she stumbled into a grand space, partially lit by the moon's soft glow. In the distance, she recognized a familiar figure, a worker from the photos. He stood, his expression a mix of sadness and relief. "Thank you," he seemed to say, though no words left his lips. Liz's heart pounded as she felt drawn to him. In that charged moment, she understood this was not merely a building filled with sorrow. It was a sacred space that cried out for acknowledgement, a canvas of stories desperate to be told. When the night came to an end, she left the film center changed, a sense of purpose igniting within her. Lisa realized her calling was clear: to immortalize the souls of the Manila Film Center through her art, to breathe a life into their memories, to reveal their dreams. Lisa emerged from the film center with a spirit ignited, charged with the essence of those who came before her. The journey through time left an indelible mark upon her. She felt connected to the workers' stories, their struggles and aspirations, as if they had imprinted their collective spirit to her very being. Through her lens, she envisioned a project and a documentary that would honor their lives beyond the tragedy of their deaths. The Manila Film Center, once merely a hub of creative ambition, now stood as a living testament to sacrifice and tragedy, its beauty marked by the shadows of lost dreams. With her newfound purpose, Lisa planned to gather their stories, breathing life into their legacy, weaving a narrative that juxtaposed their aspirations with the harsh realities they faced. In her mind, she now envisioned a future filled with light, a tribute that would not only enhance her journey as an artist but give voice to those who had long been silenced. It became her mission to immortalize their narratives through the magic of film, not simply to remember them, but to celebrate their spirit and resilience, ensuring that no one would ever forget the sacrifices made within those hallowed walls. As she stepped into the sunlight, Lisa felt the embrace of the spirits swirling around her, whispers that no longer echoed with sorrow, but intertwined with hope, an undeniable bond between past and present, resonating through the core of her being. She knew their stories would shine onto the silver screen, reflecting not just the heart of the Manila Film Center, but the heart of her nation. As we close the chapter on Lisa's haunting journey through the Manila Film Center, her mission lingers, an unwavering desire to honor the souls that sacrificed so much. But her tale is only one thread in the tapestry of stories tethered to this hallowed yet haunted site. Next, we venture into another spooky account that reveals the life of Marco, an aspiring filmmaker who steps into the center at night. He too will discover the spectral whispers that roam its corridors, and he will learn that probing the past can lead to unexpected and chilling encounters. Hold tight. The echoes of the Manila Film Center continue to beckon, calling forth the tales buried deep in its shadows. Prepare to unravel more secrets as we delve into the stories surrounding this captivating site. What waits for Marco within those darkened walls? Only time and perhaps the spirits left behind will tell. Story 2: The uninvited guest. The moon hung low over Manila, casting spectral light upon the Manila Film Center, now an abandoned giant where dreams of cinema once flourished. Among those whose curiosity lured them into its forsaken embrace was Marco, an aspiring filmmaker with an insatiable appetite for stories that danced on the cusp of the supernatural. The rumors, whispered among his peers, painted an irresistible portrait of spirits longing for recognition, their tales tangled up in the very walls that once inspired cinematic treasures. As he approached the imposing structure, a shiver crept up Marco's spine, a blend of excitement and trepidation. He squinted through the dim light, taking in the weathered facade and the echoing silence that surrounded him. His heart raced as he slipped inside, the heavy door creaking as if protesting the intrusion. Inside, the atmosphere warped into something otherworldly. Abandoned film reels lay scattered beneath layers of dust, and faded posters clung to the walls, silent witnesses to the histories they once celebrated. Shadows swirled in the dimly lit corridors, and the stillness was punctuated only by the occasional sound of an unseen presence rustling among the forgotten relics of cinematic history. Marco felt enveloped by the building's grief, stricken spirit, a blend of ambition and loss, a mirror of his own desires as an artist. With each step, he sought inspiration for his next film, unaware that the stories he sought to capture were already unfolding around him, waiting for a kindred spirit to awaken them. Venturing deeper into the heart of the Manila Film Center, Marco's surroundings shifted from the chaotic energy of his imagination to an eerie calm that prickled his skin. He wandered through vast, empty halls where each piece of cinematic history seemed to breathe, igniting his passion yet sending chills down his spine. It's here, amidst the remnants of forgotten dreams, that Marco discovered the untouched screening room. Pushing the door open, he was met by a gust of stale, cool air that whispered secrets from another time. His eyes were drawn to an antique movie projector, an artifact imprisoned by cobwebs and neglect. Curiosity compelled him forward. He flicked it on with a trembling hand. The projector whirred reluctantly to life, casting a flickering beam across the room that illuminated the dust motes dancing in its glow. Suddenly, grainy footage filled the screen, the drawing Marco into a scene from 3 decades prior. The grainy images revealed the grandeur of the film center's opening day. Attendees, elegantly dressed, filled the hall. Laughter echoed, capturing a moment of exuberance that seemed to transcend time. But as the film progressed, the jubilance plunged into chaos as the screen flickered, warping into distorted faces the spirits of the workers who perished during its construction. Marco's heart raced, entranced by the interconnectedness of their stories and his own. The visuals inspired a torrent of emotions, a yearning for acknowledgement bubbling within him. The room grew darker, shadows pooling in corners, while an icy breath brushed against his neck. Turning quickly, he glanced over his shoulder, yet found only darkness staring back at him. As the film continued, snippets of life, laughter, and then heart-wrenching despair danced across the screen. Marco could almost hear their silent pleas. Echoing through the years, a chorus of souls seeking recognition for the sacrifice they made. The temperature around him plummeted. He sensed that he was not alone. In that moment, the projector sputtered, its light warping further, revealing ghostly figures standing just beyond the flickering beam. The workers pale, translucent. Trapped in a moment of yearning filled the gallery with their desperate gazes. Fear coursed through Marco, yet his intrigue pinned him to the spot. He realized that these phantoms were not here to haunt him. They were seeking something far greater, an entrance into the world they once knew. A tribute to their lives spent on the hallowed grounds. "Who are you?" Marco's voice trembled in the silence, and the whispers in the air seemed to answer, swirling around him like a gust of wind carrying unsung words. One figure stepped closer, revealing the sorrow in their eyes, a man with weathered hands and an expression etched in sorrow and pride. "Remember us." The voice, though faint, echoed through Marco's mind, resonating with the weight of history that none had cared to lift until now. Driven by unyielding resolve, Marco reached for his camera, the instrument of his art that could weave their tales into life once again. Pointing it towards the flickering screen, he began capturing moments as if to offer these souls a new canvas. Frame by frame, their stories danced before his eyes, the roles they played as laborers, dreamers, and creators, all wrapped up in an effort to birth something beautiful from grief. But with each step closer, the energy in the room shifted. The light flickered violently, and the images warped into a tableau of chaos. Marco could feel the weight of their anguish, the raw thirst for acknowledgement radiating from the spectral workers. Overwhelmed, he stumbled back, and in the swirl of darkness, he felt a grip at his arm, icy and tinged with desperation. He turned, and there before him was a fleeting glimpse of a woman, her hands extended in a silent plea. "Help us," her breathless whisper sent chills cascading down his spine. "Let our stories breathe again." In that moment of clarity, Marco understood his purpose. The Film Center was not merely a relic. It was a tome for memories and dreams snuffed out too soon. He had stumbled upon a narrative that was far more significant than his own aspirations. It was a history that demanded to be told. As the projector continued showing fragmented visions, Marco steeled himself, launching headlong into the storytelling that beckoned. He would craft a documentary, one that focused not solely on the fame and glamour of the Film Center, but rather the heartbeat of the souls intertwined with its creation. They were not just uninvited guests, they were the foundation upon which the Film Center stood, and their stories deserved a place in the cinematic legacy of the Philippines. As the night wore on, Marco's vision became clearer. The scenes from the past merged with his dreams for the future. He was determined to retell the Film Center's story, layered with the rich yet tragic histories of those whose lives flickered before his eyes. Through interviews, archival footage, and a heartfelt narrative, he would weave the fabric of their legacy into something eternal. When finally Marco stepped away from the projector, light shone on the empty screening room, alleviating the heavy shadows. The specters had faded, departing into the ether, yet their presence lingered on, guiding him softly towards the exit. Emerging from the Film Center, Marco felt changed, his heart pounding with the weight of responsibility. The walls may have been silent during his traverse, but now they echoed with the voices of the past. Each breath, he took was a promise to keep their stories alive. His time spent entwined with the spirits had birthed a fierce urgency within him. Marco knew he needed to craft a documentary, one that honored the laborers who had given their lives for a structure that became a sanctuary for artistry. He envisioned scenes of the lives they could have led, framed against the beautiful backdrop of the film center they birthed. Over the weeks that followed, as he assembled interviews and pieced together archival footage, Marco's vision crystallized. The documentary, titled Uninvited Guests, A Legacy of Sacrifice, became a beacon illuminating the shadows of history that often go unacknowledged. Standing on the occasion of his screening, amidst a revived film center alive with chatter, he felt their presence. It was as if the workers watched, pride filling the air, their stories finally given a voice. Marco realized that in the act of remembrance, he had not simply paid homage, but had opened a dialogue between the living and the departed. The Manila Film Center endured a haunting reminder of resilience, hope, and the spirits that walked in tandem with those who dared to dream. In this reflection, Marco found purpose. The ghosts were no longer uninvited guests, but mentors guiding him through the tangled legacy of art and life. As Marco's new journey began, fueled by echoes of the past mingling with his vision for the future, we find ourselves shifting focus to yet another soul, deeply intertwined with the Manila Film Center's storied history. This tale will lead us to Bella, a renowned actress revisiting the very halls that witnessed her rise to fame. Her journey holds a rich connection to the spirit world. The shadows of those who paved the way for own ambitions hover faithfully behind her. What revelations await as she confronts both her past and the spirits who dwell within these walls? As we prepare to delve into Bella's poignant encounter, we shall see the ties that bind ambition, remorse, and the radiant boundaries of life and afterlife, the ultimate tribute to those who continue storytelling from beyond. Story 30 Guardians of the theatrical realm. Bella, a celebrated actress with a career spanning decades, had a special bond with the Manila Film Center. It was where she got her start, debuting in a film that had since faded into obscurity, yet for Bella, it remained a cherished part of her identity. Today, she returns to the Film Center for a retrospective event, an exhibition that pays homage to the luminaries of Philippine cinema. As she steps through the grand entrance, she can almost hear echoes of applause from audiences long gone. Feel the excitement of past screenings weave through the air like a fragile thread connecting her to her beginnings. However, beneath the shimmering nostalgia, an unsettling heaviness envelops the building. Shadows seem to hide in corners, and wisps of air carry faint, murmuring voices that make the hairs on the back of her neck prickle. She brushes it off, attributing it to her heightened emotions. But the feeling of being watched makes her glance over her shoulder more than once. Bella is greeted by familiar faces of those who not only contributed to the film industry, but also spent their last moments at the site. While chatting with fans and other actors, she notices brief glimpses of shaded figures flitting through her peripheral vision. Their fluid movements hint at a persistence, a lingering attachment to a past interwoven with her own. With each step deeper into the building, she feels an intoxicating mix of nostalgia and dread, recalling the stories of lives intertwined with the dreams forged in these walls. As the event starts, Bella takes the stage. She delivers heartfelt anecdotes from her early days, celebrating the passion and artistry that shaped her career. Yet, with each story, a sense of urgency drips from the atmosphere, a chill that seems to seep into her bones. After her speech, she wanders through the exhibition, drawn by the aura of forgotten elegance that fills the spacious hall, now adorned with old film posters and memorabilia. She stops before a display housing costumes and props from decades past. Each item seems to hum with energy, telling stories of ambition and dreams. In the corner, a small silver mirror catches her eye. It's framed with delicate carvings, intricately designed. Bella feels an inexplicable pull toward it. leaning in closer. She notices her reflection, but something's off. The mirror doesn't just show her. It seems to house shadows, figures from the past swirling, just out of reach. Faces appear and vanish. She frowns at the impossibility of what she's witnessing. Abruptly, a cold breeze passes through her, and she shivers. Moving on, Bella reaches a sitting room that showcases awards and archives from iconic films. The light here is dim, and as she examines an old projector, she can't shake the feeling of eyes watching her from the shadows. With a deep breath, she chooses to ignore it. Her fingers graze an award won for a movie shot here decades ago, a poignant love story that resonated with audiences and critics alike. Suddenly, she's pulled into a memory, her heart warmed by the thrill of that time in her life. But then it happens. She notices a faint outline of a face in the corner of the room, manifesting through the shadows. A sinking feeling pulls in her stomach. Silently, she hears whispers, "Please," escaping the past. "Remember us," they seem to plead. Bella straightens and glances around, but finds no one there. She gulps, her heart racing. It feels as though the very walls are urging her to pay attention, to recognize the struggles that lay buried beneath the glamorous veneer of the industry. Caught in a trance between the past and present, Bella feels herself slipping further into the memories of those who came before her. Each silent shadow that flits by tells a story of passion and heartbreak, of triumphs intertwined with sacrifice. She realizes that her fame comes at a cost, and that history is layered with the lives of those who adorn these same halls. It dawns on her that she can no longer turn a blind eye. The sacrifices of those who paved the way for her success must be acknowledged. In a moment of clarity, Bella heads to the fireplace mantel, where various framed photographs are exhibited, images frozen in time, faces that carried dreams on their shoulders, artists whose stories desperately demanded to be told. Stirred by sentiment, she begins to read the plaques beside each picture, a combination of names lost to time and tantalizing tales of ambition that met with tragedy. Then, she catches sight of a group photo featuring an ensemble cast shot from the film that launched her. Their faces radiate joy, yet something deeper lurks behind their smiles. She suddenly remembers the story behind the film's production. Tales of hard struggles and working overtime to meet deadlines. The spirits of those actors, crew members, and unpaid workers seem to call out to her, their wishes plaguing her thoughts, North Star guides vanishing into thin air. In a private moment torn between fear and reverence, Bella gathers her breath and whispers, "I'm sorry." Unexpectedly, the shadows around her begin to intensify, swarming and swirling. Strange warmth envelops her, a tangible reminder that they heard her. She shuts her eyes tight, succumbing to the emotional surge welling within. Images flood her mind, set pieces crumbling from neglect, laughter echoed in the void, and the heart-wrenching realization that they were never acknowledged. Suddenly, she feels herself being drawn deeper into the fabric of the building, transported through time. The coldness dissipates, transformed instead into an echoing warmth of luminous lights, the bustling excitement of actors, directors, and crew all working tirelessly, weaving dreams into the very air she breathes. She finds herself seated in the midst of a lively film screening, surrounded by spirited chatter and joyous faces, a world alive with ambition and hope. Eyes twinkling in the dim light, she feels an overwhelming wave of nostalgia wrap around her. The film begins, flickering to life on the screen before her. Each frame dances with the energy of those who lived, laughed, and shared in this sacred space. Bella can recognize, now, the unfulfilled potential, the dreams still lingering in the air. Every laugh and cheer from her past seems to resonate within her soul, igniting a renewed sense of purpose. As the film progresses, she recognizes the essence of the lost souls around her, guardians of talent, laughter, and undeniable artistry. They were more than just figures in her memories. They were embodiments of dedication and hard work, the labor of love that birthed this haven of arts and creativity. But even within this comforting embrace, guilt gnaws at her. Do they know how much she owes them? As the film nears its conclusion, the mood shifts subtly, mirroring a poignant sadness beneath the initial joy. It is in this bittersweet moment that she realizes the price of love for art is eternal vigilance. As the lights flicker and fade, she feels the fleeting grasp of those spirits tightening around her, urging her to remember their sacrifices. Suddenly, the scene shifts, and the joyous faces dissolve into cries of desperation, sorrow etched across their features. Bella's heart sinks. An understanding settles within her this wasn't merely nostalgic whimsy. The spirits of those with these walls have been forgotten, their stories lost beyond memory. They had traversed the divide to impart an urgent message to her. Tears brim in Bella's eyes as she watches the final frames dissolve into darkness. A haunting reminder of why she needed to come back. As the shadows surrounding her regain their form, enraptured by her emotional journey, she opens her mouth to speak, but words falter. Instead, she sends a silent apology, expressing gratitude for their guiding presence. Bella steps back from the haze of memory, her chest feeling lighter yet heavier at once. The shadows slowly dissipate around her, leaving her with a profound understanding of her connection to the history of her craft, a lineage of creators who poured their hearts into a legacy that needed to be recognized. Leaving the film center, German as she takes a final breath, she vows to honor their stories, weaving their contributions into her upcoming projects and sharing the beauty behind their struggles. She gazes one last time at the grand facade, feeling the spirits linger like guardians, standing sentinel over the artistic realm, a bittersweet recognition of their enduring influence. As Bella steps away from the film center, she reflects on the signing and reshaping of her identity. The spectral guardians she had encountered would no longer remain anonymous shadows. She will narrate their stories, spotlighting their struggles woven into the fabric of her artistry. The path ahead clarifies with a newfound purpose. She envisions documentaries and screenplays, each one delicately intertwining her own experiences with those who walked before and after her, claiming their place in this illusory realm of cinema. The whispers of the past serve as a constant reminder of how fleeting time can be and the importance of honoring those who forged their artistic dreams. Embedded like stardust in the walls of the film center, the evening sky transforms dusk to darkness as Bella drives away. Outside the window, the majestic silhouette of the film center stands, still its dark outline a restless echo of creativity, a testament to resilience. Here lie the spirits of lost dreams, but they are no longer hidden in shame. They breathe through her work, nurturing her ambition and guiding her artistry. With her heart full, Bella has become the bridge between past and present, a guardian in her own right, united with those who built and shaped the theatrical realm. Together, they rise, and the stories that once languished in silence will now soar, carried by those brave enough to rediscover the beauty of remembrance. As Bella walks away from the echoes of history embedded in the stairs of the Manila Film Center, we're reminded of the spectral encounters that characterize this magical site. Her journey sheds light on the intertwining of fame and responsibility yet. There are countless stories yet to be unraveled, tales that shape the essence of the human experience. In that same spirit, let us segue into another chilling tale steeped in spectral warnings, one that warns against disturbing the unseen realms that linger on the periphery of our understanding, where the stories intersect with shadows, exploring the consequences of those who dared to cross the line into the supernatural. Thus, we turn the page to another haunting chapter that unfurls the mysteries of the Manila Film Center, inviting you to brace yourselves for a tale that promises to uncover the darker and more sinister facets that lurk beyond the screens, the unseen guardians of forgotten legacies. Story 4: The Curse of the Lost Reel. The moon hung low over Manila, its silvery light flooding the crevices of the Manila Film Center, casting long shadows that danced like specters along the concrete walls. Among the shadows was Renato, a local urban explorer with an insatiable thirst for the unseen stories hidden within the city's spine. With a group of daring friends urging him on, he had bet a hefty sum that he could spend the night inside the hallways of this reputed haunt. "You heard the tales, right?" Francisco, his raucous friend, exclaimed, his voice echoing off the stark corridors. "The cursed film reel that's said to be buried in the bowels of this place." Renato smirked, drawing confidence from the bravado around him. The tales were thrilling, relaying how the incomplete work of directors and artists whispered curses as it awaited completion, a reel containing the very essence of their tormented souls. But he was no ordinary ghost hunter. He was someone on the cusp of uncovering urban legends. As he stepped over the threshold into the center, a sudden chill snaked its way down his spine, igniting a spark of excitement and dread. "Let's split up," he suggested, tension thickening the air like fog. After securing their flashlights and equipment, they scattered into the labyrinth of forgotten rooms and empty screening halls, each determined to unearth evidence of the supernatural. As the minutes passed, the silence enveloped Renato like an unwelcome embrace. He wandered deeper inside, the soft crunch of his footsteps against the dust-laden floor starkly contrasting the pounding of his heart. It wasn't long before he stumbled upon the legendary screening room, a chamber steeped in darkness, filled with ancient projection equipment, adorned in layers of dust. Beneath a forgotten tarp lay an old film projector, still intact yet reeking of decay. His breath quickened with anticipation as he approached it. Slowly, he managed to dust off the reel prominently displayed on the side, its surface marred with years of neglect. "What do y'all think?" he shouted to his friends, who had also begun to converge, drawn by the pull of the relic. Unfortunately, excitement would soon metastasize into dread. He placed the film reel onto the projector and, with a hesitant flick of a switch, the machine roared to life, casting flickering images on the tarnished wall. At first, it appeared innocent enough, a vibrant glimpse into a glittering celebration that had long faded into obscurity. Spectators adorned with jubilant smiles danced across the screen, radiant in their passion for cinema. But as Renato leaned closer, the film began to glitch. The celebratory images warped grotesquely, faces elongating into haunting masks, distorted images of the doomed workers who had labored tirelessly to construct the very edifice around them. Some wept, their eyes hollow with an unspoken despair, while others reached out as if begging for help. A suffocating energy pooled in the room as shadows flickered violently in the periphery of his vision. Renato stumbled back, the projector casting fractured flickers of light that rendered the figures present in the room nothing more than echoes of the tragic past. "Do you see this?" he gasped, glancing over at his friends, but they stood transfixed, eyes wide with terror. As the film delved further into madness, the dissonant sounds of screams pierced through the projector's mechanical wares. The atmosphere shifted palpably, becoming oppressive, with tendrils of darkness creeping outwards like an ancient predator sensing its prey. Suddenly, he felt a cold breath trailing down his neck. Heart racing, Renato spun around, his flashlight slicing through the dark, seeking to illuminate the unseen presence. But the beam illuminated nothing before him. Then came the voices, a discordant cacophony, entreating him to leave, taunting him gently yet insistently. "Renato," they whispered. The echoes of the past wrapped around him like fog. Panic surged as he realized the true horror of what lay before him. The stories had not just been legends. They were warnings. Joe, one of his friends, hollered from the other side of the room, "It's getting too real. We have to get out of here, now." But Renato's instincts were fleeting, caught in a web of curiosity deeper than the mounting terror. He took a step back toward the screen, consumed by the allure of the cursed reel. As he focused again on the unraveling images, he spotted something moving, a figure, a spectral hand reaching through the distortions to grab him. The room darkened, and the line between reality and the real blurred more than ever. Each face in the film morphed into angry figures from the depths of his subconscious, each a reflection of the wrath and sorrow shared by those whom he had unwittingly disturbed. Shadows slithered out from the projections and surged toward him. Renato was ensnared by their collective pain. Driven by instinct, he ran heart-pounding, a veins thrumming with adrenaline as the manifestations transformed from mere shadows into full-bodied apparitions. Ethereal faces cried out to him, urging him to feel the weight of their tragedy. Hands reached out to touch him, fingers brushing against the fabric of his fear. As Renato sprinted through the hallways, the once familiar terrain became a nightmarish maze. Doorways appeared and vanished, leading deeper into a night completely devoid of time. The ornate decor of the film center twisted grotesquely. The walls pulsed with breath and malice, every flicker of light serving as a reminder of who had suffered here. Of the promise of beauty turned to ashes by greed. He ducked around a corner, only to find himself at the entrance of the projection room again. The cursed film still played, the spirits forever trapped within a cycle they could not complete. Desperation clouded him. But before he could turn to flee one more time, a deafening crash echoed through the chamber, a wild burst of anger from the spirits who demanded their story be told. In a flurry of motion, Renato thrust the film reel into his backpack and bolted toward the exit. Overshadowed by cries from the spectral congregation, echoing through the halls, they were both pleading for release and warning against disturbing the past. As he burst through the echoing doors, he glanced back, breathless and shaken, the air behind him thick with the weight of their sorrow. Though he escaped, the haunting ladder of the lost souls trailed behind him, a reminder that their unfinished business had intertwined with his fate. Once back outside, under the star-studded sky, Renato felt an uneasy resolve settle within him. He could never erase the memory of that night, nor the faces of the spirits yearning for recognition. Determined, he would reveal their story. The curse of the lost reel is more than just urban legend. It's a testament to those who sacrificed their lives for art. Leaving the Manila Film Center behind, Renato carried the weight of history etched on his soul, cogitating on how he would approach documenting their story. He resolved never to forget those who came before him, even if their hallowed tales lay silently behind the veil of the haunted film they created. Renato's experience serves as a haunting reminder to respect the past, the cautionary tale, reverberating within the walls of the Manila Film Center, a place where beauty was born from tragedy and ghosts lingered, longing to be remembered in the eyes of the living. As we journey through the haunting tales wrought from the echoes of the Manila Film Center, we find a profound connection woven between the living and the departed. Each story, be it Lisa's poignant homage to the lost workers, Marco's chilling discovery of the past, crying out for recognition, Bella's emotional awakening to the shadows of forgotten legacies, or Renato's harrowing warning against tampering with the cursed, reveals the emotional weight carried by this architectural marvel. The Film Center stands not merely as an elegant facade, but as a memorial, etched deeply in the hearts of its visitors and the spirits who roam its halls. In its chambers reside not just the dreams of cinema, but the aches of ambition, sacrifice, and the untold narratives of those who labored tirelessly beneath its roof. We encourage you, our viewers, to reflect upon these haunting experiences. Have you encountered the remnants of history hidden within your own town's tales of spirits clinging to what once was? Ghost stories serve as a bridge from the present to the past, reminding us of the lives woven into the fabric of our culture. Share your thoughts, your own spectral tales or local legends, in the comments. What whispers do you hear in the shadows of your own history? As we close this chapter, we invite you to consider, what stories does your local history hold? And how many souls wander through the tales we've forgotten? The past is alive in countless ways, and the spirits may long for recognitions, urging us to listen closely to their stories. Thank you for joining us on this spectral journey through the Manila Film Center. We hope you enjoyed the blend of dramatic storytelling with the rich tapestry of history tied to these experiences. If you found yourself enthralled by the intertwining of film, hauntings, and the ghosts that inhabit memory, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Ghost Stories of the Battles. There are more untold stories awaiting to be uncovered, where history and the supernatural twine, just like the shadows that dance within the walls of this iconic landmark. Until next time, keep your lanterns lit and your hearts open to hear the tales that whisper from beyond.